The silent autumn epidemic. Why your birds get sick without warning. My fellow breeders, pay attention. A bird can be dying right before your eyes and nobody notices. Autumn is the time of year when our aviary turns into a minefield. Humidity, fungi, bacteria, and silent diarrhea all converge and strike when we least expect it. Stay with me until the end of this video. I'll reveal the invisible signs that 9 out of 10 breeders ignore. And before we continue, you know the drill. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and comment if you've ever lost birds this way, and share this video to help other breeders who've been through the same. In autumn, nature changes, but our routines don't, and that's where the danger lies. Humidity rises, soft foods spoil faster, containers become breeding grounds for microbes, and the bird's gut flora destabilizes. The result? Birds that lose weight for no reason, intermittent diarrhea that confuses the breeder, and individuals that isolate themselves from the flock before we even notice how serious it is. It's a cruel and silent scenario. While a breeder thinks it's just a phase, an entire group can be wiped out by an infection that began in a poorly cleaned waterer. Now here's the part many don't want to hear. It's not always the vet's fault, nor a mysterious plague. It's often negligence. Changing drinking water every 3 days, not cleaning drinkers, leaving wet food for hours. Small habits that turn a healthy aviary into a pathogen incubator. Some breeders, out of frustration, use preventive antibiotics en masse, a dangerous practice that creates resistance and hides the real issues. It's controversial, but it's true. Preventive medication can actually make things worse in the long run. The first step to avoiding disaster is adopting a proactive mindset. Regular cleaning, daily observation of minimal signs, activity, plumage, posture, and reducing microbial load before birds show visible suffering. Throughout this video, I'll show you how to detect early visual signs and identify them in detail. No scare tactics, just simple, life-saving practices for both chicks and adults. Stay until the end of the video. In the following topics, I'll give you practical tips you can apply this week to reduce humidity, protect gut flora, and keep your flock from becoming another statistic. The invisible enemy. Water as the silent source of disease. If there's one critical factor that separates a healthy aviary from an imminent problem, it's water. Yes, drinking water, that clear and harmless-looking element, is often the epicenter of silent autumn epidemics. During this season, humidity and temperature fluctuations speed up bacterial growth, and what seems like pure water today can become a deadly pathogenic broth tomorrow. The scariest part is that it all happens invisibly, and most breeders don't even notice. That's why this topic is one of the most important in this video. Water is the main vehicle for the transmission of diseases such as coccidiosis, salmonellosis, E. coli infections, and several other intestinal disorders. In a single drinker, thousands of microorganisms can coexist and multiply exponentially within a few hours in warm and humid conditions. Changing the water daily is not optional. It's mandatory. And when I say changing, I don't just mean dumping and refilling. It means washing the drinker, scrubbing the inside walls, and making sure no organic residue remains. Another common mistake is using the same drinkers for weeks. Over time, even when washed, they accumulate bacterial biofilm, a sticky layer where fungi and bacteria form resistant colonies. The solution. Rotate and disinfect drinkers weekly. While some are in use, others should be soaked in a bleach and water solution for 3 to 4 days, completely eliminating any pathogenic residue. After that, simply rinse them under running water, and they're ready to be used again. Now here's a tip that separates attentive breeders from careless ones. Slight acidity in water is a powerful weapon. When the water's pH is lower, many pathogens lose their ability to multiply. That's why natural apple cider vinegar is one of the most effective secrets. It's not a medicine, it's a natural barrier. Just add a few drops of apple cider vinegar to the drinkers twice a week to create an environment hostile to pathogens without harming the birds. Vinegar helps not only in the water but also in the bird's intestinal flora. Once ingested, it slightly adjusts the internal pH, making it harder for bacteria to spread and helping the body maintain a healthy balance. Remember, we're not disinfecting the water, we're making it biologically unfavorable to microscopic invaders. It may sound like a small detail, but controlling water quality is the first step to preventing 80% of autumn diseases. Those who ignore this will eventually pay the price, usually with losses that could have been avoided. If you want to save your birds before they fall ill, do. And miss what comes next. The breeder's eye. Detecting illness before it happens. A good breeder isn't the one who treats fast, it's the one who detects before treatment is needed. Birds rarely fall ill overnight. Their bodies speak, giving off subtle, almost invisible signals that reveal everything to those who know how to observe. The problem is that many breeders only notice when the bird is already thin, isolated, and with a lifeless stare, and by then, it's often too late. The secret lies in training your eye. Observing posture, behavior, plumage, breathing, and appetite is like performing a daily checkup on your flock. A healthy bird is active, curious, with smooth feathers and calm breathing. When something changes, even slightly, it's a silent warning. A bird that isolates itself from the group. One that sleeps during the day. One that spends more time on the cage floor. Or one that suddenly loses interest in food. These signs aren't fatigue or mood swings. They're the first stage of something that can spread fast. And the sooner it's identified, the lower the risk of contagion and the greater the chance of recovery. Another sign often ignored is plumage. Feathers are the mirror of internal health. A bird with fluffed, dull, or misaligned feathers is trying to compensate for a physiological weakness. The same goes for droppings. Their color, consistency, and odor tell you more than many lab tests. Watery, greenish, or bloody droppings are clear indicators of intestinal or liver problems. So don't overlook the feeder or the cage floor. They're your daily laboratory. The observation routine should be done early in the morning, when birds are most active and show their natural behavior. Just 5 minutes a day can prevent weeks of treatment and irreversible losses. And remember, the breeder who observes is the one who anticipates, not reacts. Being attentive isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. That's what separates those who breed out of passion from those who simply keep birds. If you want your aviary to make it through autumn without losses and full of vitality, don't miss what's coming next. Natural immune boost. Strengthen before disease strikes. Friends and breeders, pay attention. If the last topic showed that observing is vital, this one proves that prevention is even more powerful. Autumn waits for no one, and birds suffer from low immunity after molting. A small oversight and a weak immune system can turn a healthy flock into silent victims of viruses, bacteria, and fungi. The first rule of immune boosting is strategic nutrition. It's not about overfeeding, it's about providing nutrients that stimulate natural defenses. Specific vitamins, minerals, and amino acids are invisible allies that keep birds active, vibrant, and resilient. A trick few breeders use: adding natural foods rich in antioxidants. Fruits like apple, pear, and small amounts of carrot, without overdoing it, help protect cells from oxidative stress. Regular administration of liver protectors, vitamin E, and selenium strengthens the liver and increases resistance to infections. Another critical point: probiotic and prebiotic supplements. During autumn, birds' intestinal flora becomes unstable, which is exactly where pathogens find fertile ground. Continuous probiotic administration adjusts intestinal pH, balances good bacteria, and prevents harmful agents from multiplying. And attention, this isn't about overloading birds with medication. The goal is to strengthen, not mask symptoms. The immune system works best when birds have clean food, high-quality water, and a dry, hygienic environment. It's the combination of these factors that turns an aviary into a natural fortress against seasonal diseases. Finally, an advanced trick from experienced breeders: very small nutritional stimuli weekly without causing digestive stress. It's like natural training for the immune system. Small challenges that strengthen defenses without risk. Remember, prevention is always cheaper and more effective than cure. If your goal is to get through autumn without losses and with strong, healthy birds, this step is essential. Humidity under control. Turn your aviary into a fortress against fungi and bacteria. Friends and breeders, pay attention. Humidity is the silent enemy of autumn. Invisible and treacherous, when neglected it can turn any aviary into fertile ground for fungi, mold, and bacteria. Many believe that simply opening a window or letting in some sunlight is enough. It isn't. Humidity accumulating on perches, feed, and water creates ideal microclimates for pathogens to multiply. A bird that seems healthy today may be incubating problems that only show up days later. The first step is to measure humidity and keep it below critical levels. A thermometer and hygrometer are indispensable tools. Ideally, relative humidity should not exceed 70% inside the aviary. When levels rise, every damp surface becomes an invisible germ laboratory. Another crucial point is daily cleaning and controlled ventilation. Feed cannot sit out for hours, perches must be dry, and cage floors must be cleaned regularly. Avoiding the accumulation of water and food residues in the cage bottoms is your first barrier against disease. Advanced breeders also use natural absorbents, such as sterilized sand or treated wood shavings, to reduce moisture retention on the floor. Small steps that make a huge difference in bird welfare. Controlled humidity also protects the bird's intestinal flora. The fewer environmental fungi and bacteria, the less stress on their immune system. A dry aviary not only prevents disease but also reduces stress, keeping birds active and curious. Remember, controlling humidity isn't just about hygiene, it's active, strategic, and vital prevention to survive autumn without losses. Small daily adjustments save weeks of treatment and prevent suffering. If you want to maintain complete environmental control and fully protect your birds, don't miss the next step. Monitoring diet. The key to healthy gut flora and strong birds. Friends and breeders, pay attention. Feeding is not just nutrition, it's defense. In autumn, when birds' intestinal flora becomes more sensitive, every meal can be either an ally or a silent enemy. A dietary imbalance can quickly turn a healthy flock into silent victims of intestinal infections. The first step is to analyze every ingredient. Feed and seeds must be fresh, clean, and mold-free. Humidity not only spoils food but also allows microorganisms to multiply quickly. Fresh fruits and vegetables should be offered in small amounts, avoiding excess that promotes fermentation or rotting. Another critical point: strategic supplementation. Probiotics and prebiotics are not optional at this time. They are essential to maintain intestinal balance. A healthy gut improves nutrient absorption and strengthens the immune system, making birds less vulnerable to pathogens. Diet diversity is also a powerful tool. Introducing small weekly variations, such as different seeds or specific fruits, stimulates digestion and keeps metabolism active without causing stress. It's like daily training for the body. Small doses of stimulation that strengthen natural defenses. And be careful. This is not about over-supplementing or using preventive medications unnecessarily. The goal is to strengthen, not mask symptoms. Quality water, hygiene, and balanced nutrition form the triad that ensures strong, resilient birds. Finally, constant diet observation is just as important as the feeding itself. Checking that each bird eats properly, that no food is wasted or spoiling, and that all individuals get sufficient nutrients helps detect imbalances early before they turn into disease. Remember, the strength of your flock starts on the plate. A healthy diet is natural defense, silent prevention, and guarantees active, resilient birds throughout autumn. If you want your birds to stay strong and healthy, don't miss the next topic, where we'll discuss respiratory disease prevention and strategic ventilation. Strategic ventilation. The air that saves lives in your aviary. Friends and breeders, pay attention. Air quality is as vital as water or food. In autumn, stagnant air in the aviary can become a silent enemy, spreading bacteria, fungi, and respiratory viruses before we even notice visible signs in the birds. The first step is to understand that ventilation does not mean opening all windows indiscriminately. Cold drafts can be as harmful as stale air. The correct strategy is to create constant, controlled airflow, renewing oxygen and removing humidity without causing excessive cold. Another critical point is the placement of perches and waterers. Avoid letting birds breathe direct drafts or allowing humid air to hit feed and water. Local microclimates can become silent infection hotspots. Regular cleaning of vents and filters is also essential. Dust and accumulated particles become incubators for fungi and respiratory mites. Weekly maintenance drastically reduces the risk of respiratory disease. An expert breeder tip: ventilate in the morning when outdoor temperatures are milder, and reduce airflow at night to prevent thermal shock. Monitoring CO2 levels and humidity with proper meters helps adjust ventilation precisely and safely. And note, this is not just about physical health. A well-ventilated aviary reduces bird stress, improves activity, and increases resistance to pathogens. Breathing clean air naturally strengthens the immune system. Remember, strategic ventilation saves lives. A stagnant air aviary is fertile ground for silent epidemics. A well-ventilated aviary is a natural fortress, protecting birds from respiratory diseases while keeping them active and healthy. In the next topic, we will cover diarrhea prevention and gut flora protection, essential steps to ensure your flock survives autumn without losses. Diarrhea and gut flora. Prevent before it's too late. Friends and breeders, attention. Intestinal health is the true guardian of your flock's resilience. In autumn, when birds' gut flora becomes unstable, pathogens find fertile ground, resulting in diarrhea, silent weight loss, and weakened birds before you even notice. The first step is to understand that not all diarrhea is immediately visible. Often, it starts as a subtle change in droppings, more liquid, different in color, or with an unpleasant odor, and only later affects the bird's body condition. Ignoring these signs opens the door to severe and rapid losses. Active prevention is the key. Probiotics and prebiotics become essential allies at this stage. They balance gut flora, strengthen digestion, and create a natural barrier against pathogens. Introducing natural supplements, such as plant extracts or selected yeasts, helps keep the intestine resilient and functional. Another critical point: humidity and hygiene control. Clean water, washed waterers, fresh feed, and no organic debris in cage bottoms drastically reduce microbial pressure that leads to diarrhea. Observing appetite and behavior is also vital. A bird that stops eating, isolates itself, or becomes lethargic is an early warning sign. Rapid intervention, adjusting diet, providing electrolytes in saline form, and supporting gut flora, can prevent weeks of problems and irreversible losses. Finally, a daily routine of observation and prevention is more effective than any late treatment. Small, consistent habits save chicks and adults, keeping your flock healthy, active, and resilient throughout autumn. Remember, preventing diarrhea and protecting gut flora is not optional. It's the foundation of a strong and safe aviary. Strategic supplementation. Small doses, big defense. Friends and breeders, attention. Supplementing is not about excess, it's about smart reinforcement. In autumn, every carefully chosen extra nutrient can make the difference between a resilient aviary and a flock of vulnerable birds. The first principle is moderation and consistency. Vitamins, minerals, and trace elements should not be administered randomly or in excess. Small doses applied strategically keep metabolism active and strengthen natural defenses without overloading organs like the liver and kidneys. A trick often overlooked by many beginner breeders is rotating supplements weekly. For example, 1 week focus on vitamin E and selenium for antioxidants. The next week, natural multivitamins and essential amino acids. This variation creates constant stimulation, like a workout for the immune system, keeping it alert and efficient. Another critical point: probiotics and prebiotics should be part of the regular plan. They stabilize gut flora, improve nutrient absorption, and form a natural barrier against pathogens. Combined with clean water, a balanced diet, and a dry environment, they become nearly unbeatable against seasonal diseases. Attention! Supplementation does not replace hygiene, ventilation, or observation. It enhances these practices, making the flock stronger and preventing silent losses. Finally, record and track each supplementation applied. Note what each bird received, in what dose, and how often. This allows precise adjustments, identifies patterns of effectiveness, and prevents waste or unnecessary risks. Remember, small, strategically applied doses equal powerful defense. Autumn is relentless, but the aviary that anticipates survives with health, strength, and productivity. Complete autumn routine, combining all habits to survive without losses. Friends and breeders, attention. All the previous topics are valuable, but it's the daily combination of habits that turns a vulnerable aviary into a true bastion of health. In autumn, it's not enough to just observe or supplement. All strategies must be united in a consistent and disciplined routine. Start with the basics: clean water, quality food, and controlled humidity. Without these pillars, any advanced measures are insufficient. Changing water daily, keeping feed fresh, perches dry, and strategic ventilation are small actions that have a huge impact when applied consistently. Next, add attentive and early observation. Spending a few minutes each day checking posture, behavior, plumage, and droppings allows you to detect any change before it turns into a disease. A vigilant breeder anticipates, while the careless only reacts. In parallel, apply natural immune support and strategic supplementation. Small doses of vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and antioxidants strengthen birds from the inside out, keeping metabolism active and gut flora balanced. The routine is incomplete without rigorous cleaning and hygiene. Wash drinkers, fresh feed, clean cage bottoms, and rotating drinkers in a bleach solution are preventive actions that drastically reduce microbial pressure. And don't forget, strategic ventilation adjusted to temperature and humidity control creates an environment hostile to pathogens, protecting birds from respiratory diseases and stress. By combining all these elements daily, your aviary becomes an integrated prevention system, where each habit reinforces the other. This is how you survive autumn without losses, keeping birds healthy, resilient, and productive. Remember, there is no single solution. It's a complete routine applied with discipline. Those who follow this method are not just raising birds, they're creating a legacy of health and longevity in their aviary. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share with other breeders. Don't give up on breeding, because breeding is preserving, and together we can raise the standard of bird care this autumn. A big hug.